Did you see the interview he did with Lex Friedman?
I saw some of it.
So I think Lex is an absolute stud, very just smart thinker, just brainiac, very logical actor. And I've never seen him get emotionally triggered. And Kanye did that.
Yeah.
So when you can do that to the kind of a rational, logical guy, it's testament to that. But he made a very good point. He's like, and this is where they went back and forth. He's like, listen, stop with the group stuff. Individuals screwed you over.
Yeah.
Use their names. That's how you get even.
Right.
Bill fucked me, Rick Rubin fucked me, whoever it is.
Yeah.
You can name them. And that's how you get even. And that's how you even the score. Not
it's also so ridiculous.
Jews
for this guy.
got me.
I mean, these African American singers in the '60s really did get screwed and fucked. How did Kanye get fired? He was richer.
Well,
than
hire a good Jewish lawyer to read your
exactly.
fucking contract.
I mean, it's just
Point number two. I think that you talked about like Adidas specifically or Balenciaga or Vogue, whatever. I think there's a major difference between a full-on brand, a fashion brand, distancing themselves from you versus a Spotify. I'm totally okay. If Adidas wants to do their thing, Balenciaga, do your thing. You don't want him representing your brand. But Spotify, that's his music. I'm totally against that.
Yeah,
Like
I'm against
if he's rapping about killing Jews, all right, maybe. Yeah. But he's not. That's not what it is. So I'm fully against that.
Yeah.
Thirdly, and this is what talking about Jews and Assyrians. You've dealt with this before, where you went into a room to get a job, to be a part of a company, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't do business with Armenians or Assyrians." And you're like, "What did I do?" You're like, "Well, we've had a bad experience." It's like, judge me by the content of my character, not by Martin Luther King. And I think that's ultimately what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
You've dealt with this, PBD.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the one thing when I was watching AB yesterday. There's a trend. There's a difference between being a troll because it works.
Yeah.
The business model troll is very effective.
Yeah.
It's a very, very effective business model to accelerate getting eyeballs. Look at what Andrew Tate did. He got under people's skins and boom, the most viral man on the internet. No one's getting more eyeballs. And the guy does an interview. Boom. Everybody wants to know what this guy's got to say. But there's a thin line. Like Conor McGregor was a very good smack talker until he lost the fight to Dustin Poirier and says, "Hey, tell your wife to stay out of my DMs." And then boom, he crossed the line there when you're talking about trolling. There's a line for trolling. Yeah. You don't cross. When him and Mayweather were going at it, great. It sold tickets. We were all curious. The fight went, 9 or 10 rounds? But he was a professional troller. So was Mayweather. So was Trump. So are a lot of these guys. Jake Paul, major troller. Yeah. It's a very, very effective business model.
These days.
It is. Oh, yeah. It's generally always been, though. But the way it was done before was in a different way.
Muhammad Ali and everybody, they were just...
Robert Maxwell, Jelane's father was a troll going after Murdoch, and Murdoch was trolling him. This trolling concept with Onassis trolling John F. Kennedy, this is not a new thing.
Right, but the difference is, if I may... Social media has amplified that because now you can do your own distribution. You don't have to rely on
no question about it.
But
big
media.
There's like troll individuals, and then there is, like it's like how sometimes like you're trying to get attention. You're trying let's just say sometimes a podcast is not doing good or a show is not doing good. Yeah, and they're like, man, I gotta show some boobs. I gotta show some this. I gotta show some butt. I haven't been getting a lot of likes on my Instagram. I gotta say some crazy shit to get. And then it's like, no, man. Now your business model is too reliant on how everybody reacts to you, and you lose authenticity. Yeah. That's when you get in trouble.
That's what I was going to say. Again, I don't know what anybody else does because I've never had that in my brain. I've always tried to be as authentic as I can, and I try to just speak in a way that hopefully speaks to all groups, because and we're going to keep repeating the same thing, but you want to troll somebody, you're pissed at somebody specific, troll them specifically, but once you start lumping in groups, it's dangerous. Yeah. But like I said, it's a long road. Part of me thinks Kanye this is all exactly what you're talking about. He's trolling all of us, and while he lost some money at the moment, he'll be back and he'll have an album in a year and it'll be this and it'll be huge, provided it's good.
Well, but before the Jews, which is the throughout history, they've been a major scapegoat. Right now, obviously over the last couple years, it's been Asians. Yeah. Oh, you're Chinese. Clearly, you've given everybody COVID. Like, no. Yeah. I'm from Vietnam. I'm from Hong Kong. Like, stop grouping me into this. It's a very slippery slope, and it ends up getting where it gets very ugly.
Nobody did that. Nobody did.
Nobody did what?
Nobody said you're Chinese. You're the one that gave me the virus.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Stop Asian hate was a real thing.
No, nobody did that. That was what? No, nobody did. That was a campaign to pin again the same thing he's been talking about the last 3 years is to pin blacks against whites, CNN against Fox. This is the stuff that they make up that you believe, and you're like, oh my God, this. Nobody did that. No, I never went to a person saying, yeah, COVID's because of your fault.
You didn't, because you're not an idiot.
No, Pat, but people did do it.
Stop.
Pat, I'm not gonna, like, this is a real thing.
This is not a real thing. This is what
okay.
This by the way,
Asian people have been beat up because of this. There are actual stories of that.
And
real life actual case examples of these exact scenarios.
But why though?
Because some people, fringe elements of society, are fucking idiots, and they'll take.
Go to the seed.
Give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Go to the seed. Go to the seed. The root of the issue is when a CNN or MSNBC or the media says constantly, this is what's happening, and then there is reaction to it to get the attention. That's why. We can't sit here and naively think people are going around because somebody from the top says COVID came from these guys, and they're blamed. So the same thing can be said when they said COVID is because of the Trump's fault. No, COVID is this person's fault. COVID is that person's fault. So we can play that card all we want. The same story can be said on the other side. The moral of the story is the best thing that Doug just said is the following. I said, he says, I feel like we're going backwards. And I asked, why? He says, media. Mm-hmm. You turn on the media, everybody's like, everybody hates each other. We don't. We don't hate each other, man. We can sit down and have a civil conversation and figure things out. You know, we can sit down. Not everything that happens is because people are judging the other person. One scenario doesn't mean as a million scenarios. Where people are being convinced one instance of a issue happening is happening a million times everywhere. It's not. It's happening here and there. So the more you promote it, it gets to 9 people, 100 people, 700 people, 20,000 people. That's how this kind of shit gets started.
I don't disagree with that. I'll say one caveat. It takes a seed to plant a tree.
The media does
oftentimes, hear me out here. Oftentimes, a small story, a real story, an actual case example of an Asian guy getting beat up, or a black guy like a George Floyd getting killed, like that actually happened, the media will water it and give it fertilizer and grow that shit and amplify it.
Dude,
but it did start with an actual example.
Do you remember the thing that was going viral in the streets of New York where kids were going around knocking people out, and it was called something.
Knockout game, I think it was.
Knockout
Was
game.
it knockout game?
Old people, just clocking them, suckering.
Whose fault was that? Yeah. So say that incident happened 20 times. Now all of a sudden, everybody is putting it out there. Now other kids want to go do it. Now other kids are noticing. People are becoming celebrities. Hey, record me while I'm doing this. You're feeding the machine. You're feeding the beast.
Well, the news is, I mean, it isn't even the news anymore. It's just fear mongering, and you know, and it's honestly, it's not even new, though. I remember when I moved to L.A., and I'm from New York. You know, I grew up with murderers and stuff. And when I got to L.A., everyone's like, they carjack you in L.A. Be real careful. And I remember in L.A., I would drive around Beverly Hills in 1990 and, like, pull up like 8 feet from a red light so I could fucking escape if anyone attacked me. And it is. You watch the news or whatever they want to call the news, and every 5 seconds they are showing you something that you should be scared of, and they're not really giving you any way out of it. They're not giving you, like, news should be, okay, there's a hurricane coming, you might want to get out. Not everybody's getting killed every 5 seconds.
I don't remember. Doug, you're a little bit older than me, but I don't know if you remember, but news used to be a non-monetizable asset. It was the news. They weren't looking to make money off of it. It was almost like a free thing for society. And when they started to monetize news, we can make money off this. The bigger personalities and the more sensationalized that we can do things. This is a cash cow. This is a moneymaker. Let's get some people that get eyeballs. And now today, with social media and amplification,
it's definitely changed. But, and I know everybody loves like Cronkite and stuff, but the reality is it's still, you know, even when you're reporting the news, even if it was 30 years ago, it's skewed by somebody's vision of what they think, of who's being oppressed or who's this, what they want to show, whether it was Vietnam or whatever it was. So it's a scary thing, but at the same time, we need it because you need access, and that's why free speech is so important. But right now, it's also the really hard thing. I mean, you can just read the New York Times, and then you can go read somewhere else something, the exact same story, and you go, holy shit.
Yeah, that was...
Like, I don't know what to think anymore, except I do know that the Times has got a liberal slant to it, no matter what they want to claim. So it's a very confusing time, and it's a scary time for young people especially. And you know, I think what we're seeing with, like, the mental illness crisis is because people are so fucked up and they are so kind of lost as to which way to turn, and hopelessness a little bit, I think, is entering the equation where you just go, what the fuck is the point? We can't, have a normal minute ever. So
yeah, and don't forget, speaking of like legacy media, back in the day it was 3 major outlets.
Yeah.
ABC, NBC, CBS, and then Fox showed up in the 90s. It's like, who are these new guys on the block?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And now there's 10 billion different channels. Go get whatever you want. There's something for you.
Yeah.
CNN changed the game. Ted Turner's a legendary guy who started a business model which was 24/7 news, and everybody thought that was crazy. He almost risked it. He risked it all. And then next thing you know, he ends up buying the Falcons, buying the Braves.
Yeah.
I don't know who he bought. He freaking pretty much bought half the world. And then he ran for office. He almost became a president.
Yeah.
So Ted Turner created that model of constant news.
which seemed really good.
Yeah,
and
it was.
and it was really good. And now you look at it, but it's weird even with CNN now, unless I'm crazy because I stopped watching it during the pandemic. I mean, Cuomo and Don Lemon were getting me to the point of like, everybody hates. If one side hates Tucker Carlson, one side hates. I hate both of them. I just think they are. I think
it's a lot better to live that way.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they are trying everything they can to make everyone hate each other, and they're laughing all the way to the bank because they get paid to do this. But CNN, I feel like, unless I'm crazy, I've clicked on a little bit. I feel like they've moved a little right all of a sudden. Like suddenly, it's
They're trying to get back
like
to the middle.
But the way they
the
did
new
that is
CEO.
by firing a bunch of people and getting rid of a bunch of people. But the CNN I'm talking about, if you ever read the book by Ted Turner, okay, I don't know if you've read it or not.
I have not.
Highly recommend it. He wrote this a while back.
I will because I love Ted Turner.
Oh my God, dude, you won't be able to put it down. It's that if you download the audiobook and on your flight back you finish it, you'll be able to finish it at 1.5 speed.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Ted, I think. They call me Ted. I think
You do
that's
that
what
at 1.5 speed.
I do 2.0. I do 2.0, but
I
I'm
do
1.5.
This guy would go 4.0 if he could. I'm good at 2.0.
You can on Spotify 3.5 and it's fantastic. But going back to this, when you hear how it ends, what his level of disappointment with CNN, how the book ends, and this is not a new book. Can you pull up the book? Just type in what the Ted Turner book. It's not a new book. It's an older book. Not Teddy. That's a porn. What are you doing?
It autocorrects.
It's too early. So they call me Teddy.
Call me Ted.
It autocorrects.
Call me Ted.
Oh my God, Ted.
Call me Ted.
That book right there. Yeah. By the way, it's 13 years old, which is perfect because nothing was happening. It wasn't like
13 years old. So that book is due for a bar mitzvah right now.
Oh, 09.
Sounds like.
09 is what it is. So, but CNN was a guy that changed the game, and then everything else came after.
I will say something about CNN. No doubt, nationally, it has a tainted image. In my opinion, and from what I talk to, especially people internationally, CNN International has a different cachet globally. Like CNN International, which obviously we don't watch, we're in the States, does still have a high level of credibility. And that's essentially, the international arm of what Tem was.
So you watch a lot of CNN International.
I actually do.
Very
I'm thinking about what they're thinking around the world
because
watching
it's not
us on CNN. They just think we're a third world country.
Because think about it. It's not as, U.S. based, left, right, conservative, liberal, Trump, yes, no dynamics, right? It's just international news.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.